I think one of the biggest things that I'm grateful for is that we're living in one of the best times in the modern world where we have access to some of the best tools and technologies at our fingertips. Things like creating a website in half a day or broadcasting to millions of live audiences around the world, managing multiple teams just from your fingertips on one app. Now, all of these are possible with just a few tech tools. But here's the problem, is that there are hundreds, if not thousands of tools to choose from. So which one do you know is actually right for you? And on project management tools, for example, I myself have switched to so many different tools in the past where it's been really inefficient and actually wasted a lot of time doing the actual switching. So in this video, I want to break down some of the top tools that I recommend that I'm currently using in my business and also recommend for my clients' business as well when it comes to creating an online presence and online business. So I hope that is helpful to you on deciding what's the right tool for you to use. Hey there, welcome back to my channel. My name is Laurie Wang and it's so great to have you here. I'm a digital marketing and social media strategist who has built her personal brand into a business over the last few years. And I'm also a creator currently living in the trenches, sharing my lessons along the way to help you create a living doing what you love. So if that sounds interesting, then hit that subscribe button and hit the notification bell so you get notified every time I release a new video. So tool number 1 for project management, I highly recommend Notion. When it comes to managing projects, I want to keep it straightforward and really simple. As I mentioned earlier in the video, I used to use lots of different tools and eventually I switched it all over to Notion. The reason for that is because Notion is actually the one product management tool that includes things like databases, managing multiple team members, and also keeping all your projects under one roof. And the thing about Notion is that it's very flexible and versatile because each person's layout and the way that they organize their Notion is different. And that's what I like about it is that it's so personal to what I need to use that each person can tailor it based on what their current requirements are in project management and make it as simple and as complex as they want to be. I feel like Notion eventually became almost like my second brain, and I'm sure many others who use it would tell you the same, in the fact that I store so much information that I don't really need to remember all the time into this app. And what I have now is actually a complete database breakdown of everything that I would need to know in my business in different areas, whether it be the financial stuff, or perhaps it's the video organization stuff for the channel, or maybe my social media calendars. And everything that I need to organize is actually all in one place. I can also use it on my phone as well when I'm on the go. So sometimes I might be running around in London and then actually come up with a really great idea on something I'm working on. I can quickly put that into Notion. Because of how complex Notion is as an app itself, I will probably do a separate video just diving into how I use Notion with different templates and everything that I have currently organized. However, in the meantime, I recommend that you just start off with something very simple and very straightforward. And you can always build it up as you go along. So use it for you need to right now. And then always you can use those fancy templates and the fancy layouts once you have a lot more time to organize everything else. So tool number 2 is for my landing page builder. And in my case, I use Lead Pages. Now, for very non-technical people like me, Lead Pages has been a huge lifesaver. So I remember the old days when if I need to have, let's say, a landing page being built up. Now, a landing page, just to let you guys know the difference of that versus a website is actually very different. So from a marketing perspective, on a landing page, you want to make sure that you keep it to fairly simple and straightforward with one single call to action. So that could be things like signing up for your email newsletter, or things like selling a product or service, or things like getting in touch with you as a lead for your services. So within Lead Pages, I can easily mock up a landing page within minutes by using the drag and drop function, which again, for someone like me who knows nothing about coding a page from scratch, has really been very helpful and getting it live in front of my audiences within a few hours. I can also link up Lead Pages to my email marketing software, which is ConvertKit, to collect leads. And I can even link up Lead Pages to my website, where now the landing page becomes lauriewang.com / exactly whatever that page is. So let's say for my newsletter, it could be lauriewang.com / newsletter. And the best part is that all the landing pages that they have as templates are actually all designed with conversion in mind. So on most of my pages, I've been able to achieve over 60% conversion on those who come across those landing pages for the very first time. And the key here is that you're creating a landing page that doesn't distract away the audience from doing something else or leaving the page altogether. Number 3 is video editing. And for video editing, I use Adobe Premiere Pro. And also just want to add on that for mobile editing on the go, let's say for Reels or TikTok, I use InShot, which is a great mobile app for videos as a whole. So video content is really important in what I do, especially as I shoot lots of videos for this channel, for myself on social media, and having a really great one-stop shop of the tools I can use to create multiple different sizes, formats, layouts, and editing is really key. And previously, as I was a beginner, I started out using iMovie, which actually was more than enough for what I need. So if you're using video as a beginner right now, you can start off with iMovie, which should be free within your MacBook laptop. And then once you're actually more familiar with the interfaces of editing video and using different techniques, then you can move on to much more complex tools like Adobe Premiere Pro. And I'm not religious with Adobe Premiere Pro or let's say Final Cut Pro, so both are really great tools. The key thing with many tools I'll mention in this video is that you want to choose one that you like and that you're happy to use on a long-term basis and just stick with it. And also in this case with Adobe Premiere Pro is to start really small with just the basic functionalities. Let's say cutting and putting clips together. And then you can then move on to color grading and knowing how to use different filters in your videos to make it really pop. And later on, you can even think about motion graphics to make your videos even more interesting for your viewers. So InShot is a great app that I use quickly on the go for things like Instagram Reels or TikTok videos. It just gives you versatility to actually use all the functionalities that you don't have access to on your desktop at that time. And actually, it's made for mobile video, which is really key, is that you can add filters, you can add cool transitions to make your video even more interesting, especially as on social media, the attention span is so short that you want to make sure you can grab the attention of your audience on the get-go. So number 4, social media tools. So for social media, I actually use 2 tools here, which is Buffer combined with Later. Now, Buffer I use for scheduling all of my other social media channels except Instagram. And for Later, I use it specifically for Instagram because I love their layout on seeing the preview of what your Instagram feed will look like with your future content, but also it allows you to quickly drag and drop the photos and videos that you currently have in your media library to make it really quick on sketching it out, let's say 2 weeks of content in one go. Now, Buffer, I love personally as a brand and also as a tool. So as a company, Buffer is fantastic for being transparent in terms of their overall employee culture, even their salaries and everything else in between. So I love the culture and the ethos behind Buffer. But on top of that, they create some really useful tools for us to actually use scheduling social media. And one of them is a great Chrome extension that you can install from Buffer on your Chrome browser. So if you click on the Chrome extension, you'll be able to then pull up the actual content of the article or video that you're currently looking to share. And then you'll grab the headlines, the actual link to the content, and all you need to do is just type in the actual copy that you want to use in your social media post and schedule it into your social media queue. It makes it super easy and super versatile to use. And just to mention that later, I think it's really useful if you currently have a paid plan, you can actually see which hashtags are actually working for your Instagram post at the moment. So essentially the ones that are actually getting you seen on this platform. Number 5, for design and graphics, I highly recommend Canva. I actually have done a Canva specific tutorial video, so I'll link that to the description below. The reason why I love Canva is because I'm actually not very good at design, and Canva has so many amazing designs to choose from. So it made everything that I need to do graphic-wise and design-wise in my business, especially when it comes to social media, to make it so much easier for me. Now, for editing on the go, when it comes to images, I actually use VSCO a lot. And it's been my go-to tool ever since the early days of Instagram, when all you had were those really kind of murky filters in Instagram that you couldn't really use that well. But VSCO provides so many functionalities and layouts and filters that you can use to make your photos pop. I'm sure as you use this app, you'll find out what your favorite filter on here is. But my favorite one, just a tip for you, is the A6. So I recommend you checking that one out. Now, the next tool is all about email marketing. Email marketing is so important in my business, especially as I keep a much more intimate relationship with my audiences via my email on a weekly basis. It's also a great way to actually capture all your audiences across social media, let's say, and then to get them to join your email newsletter to become an audience that you actually own rather than the audience owned by social media. So let's say in the worst case scenario, Instagram or Facebook is down, which does happen sometimes quite frequently, you can then actually use email marketing to reach out to your audience instead in those situations. So I've used a few email marketing softwares in the past, and I've actually started off with MailChimp's free plan as a first-time user. Even though that was enough for me to get started, what I realized over time is that as my email audience grew, I need something much more technical, and that's able to allow me to segment my audiences into different groups. So let's say there's a group here who might need something that the other group won't need to hear about. And how do I make sure I send them the right messages at the right time? So other things like send automated email sequences to those who sign up to an email course, for example, or maybe bought one of my products. And even other things like linking them up integration-wise with my other tools for online courses, let's say Kajabi, which I'll mention later on in the video. Now, I know that all sounds very fancy, but trust me, you can definitely do this too. I didn't actually know about all these different functionalities from the day one when I switched over to ConvertKit. However, once I started using ConvertKit with more confidence over time, then I started to integrate some of these other functionalities with my other online tools as well. And I'll do another video on email marketing as a whole, so keep an eye out for that. So overall, I love the simplicity of the tool itself. And I actually put it to test in the past with my webinars and online product launches, and I can tell you that it definitely stood up the test of time. So tool number 7 is an automation tool. And I have to give a big shout out to Zapier. If there's one tool in this video that you take away with you that I recommended, it's definitely Zapier. Zapier is like the magic unicorn of all the tools. The reason why I say that is because it literally saved thousands and thousands of hours in my own work when it comes to connecting different apps to another app in my business. So for example, Zapier connects ConvertKit to Kajabi, which is basically my email marketing software, to my online course software. So that every time someone buys a course on Kajabi, let's say, then they will be sent an automated email sequence based on what course they bought, and actually to help them complete the course by nurturing them on a regular weekly basis to make sure to encourage them to finish the course and also provide more useful information that I myself have created beforehand. And imagine I had to do this manually every single time by entering them into the information that actually send them the automated sequences. That would take too much hours, which I don't have. Another example is that Zapier connects my webinar platform, Demio, to my email marketing software, ConvertKit. So let's say I run a webinar for a specific date. For those that attended my webinar, they will actually be sent a specific series of emails that's relevant to what they've heard in the webinar. Now, for those who haven't attended the webinar, they will then be sent a separate sequence of emails that talks about, for instance, encourage them to actually go watch the replay of the webinar. So very different messages on very different sequences. And again, Zapier can do all this for me all in the background without me having to lift a finger. And by using these different integrations with Zapier on my different tools, I was actually able to increase my conversion rate over time in terms of my overall webinar attendance, my overall webinar conversion rates in terms of products and services that people sign up for. And just in general, you're able to create a much more personalized experience without you having to do every single step at a time. Okay, so tool number 8 is file storage, especially in the cloud. And in this case, I actually use a mixture of Dropbox and Google Drive. Because I do a lot of video editing for this channel and also for my other social media platforms, I need to have a space where I can put all these massive files and not having to slow down my laptop. So Dropbox is great for that, where I can store all these massive video files in the cloud and only download it when I need it in future uses. What's really great about this is that I also use it to store things like all of my other files for my courses, for my clients, and everything else that I need to keep it secure, but also in the cloud without taking up space in my laptop. And the other good thing is that I talk about this a lot in terms of the social media content calendar, is that when you currently have an online cloud storage where you can share with your entire team, you can then actually have different folders that talks about different topics within your business, and everyone working for your team can then import those content that they can find around the business, around your events, for example, that you can then share later on your social media platforms. You can also work with freelance videographers and photographers to help you create content that way as well. And the Google Drive, which is part of the overall Google suite of products, I use it to actually collaborate with, let's say, people in my team, with people that I'm currently working with elsewhere, with clients, so they can share their documents, etc. with me, and we can work on it all at the same time. Now, in my business, I have a motto saying that nothing should live on the desktop computer. And everything that you have either should be backed up, but also living in the cloud, because that means that anyone, including yourself in your team, can access it from anywhere else, as long as they have an internet connection. And that makes me so much more versatile for collaboration, but makes it much more efficient as well in the long term. Tool number 9 is all about passwords and security. And in this one, I really highly recommend having it, especially when you're working with loads of remote workers that are maybe based around the world that can come and leave the team very quickly. So LastPass is great for password management. So let's say you're currently working with a virtual assistant or a freelance social media marketer on your account. You can then actually share the social media access for that account without having them to see the password. Now, all this is possible because LastPass has a Chrome extension that you can also install on the Chrome browser. And when they actually land on, let's say, Instagram from their side, they can then use the Chrome extension to get access to the account because you granted it to them beforehand and without having to actually see the password itself. I find it to be a great way to keep your account safe in the long term, and you can always remove the access when someone leaves the team. Tool number 10 is for online courses and memberships. And in this case, I love Kajabi. When I was choosing a platform to host my courses and memberships, I was looking around for the perfect solution. And what I realized is that Kajabi provides everything in one place. So that could be your sales pages, your courses that you're currently uploaded into the platform. They can showcase in a beautiful layout way to your students, and also your payment pages. So it takes everything in one place, and they can then go ahead and look at the sales pages, purchase the product, pay for the product, and be led to the same course in the same day. So if you want to have all your tools in one place, so let's say in this case, a sales page provider, an email marketing list provider, an email marketing software provider, and also a payment page provider, plus the actual platform to host all your courses and membership materials, then Kajabi is really useful for that. And trust me, the less you can actually connect integration-wise within your business, the better. Just because when it comes to, let's say, a live launch for a product or webinar, you want to have one less thing to worry about when it comes to fixing the tech side of things, which happened to me quite a few times, having to look through all of my integrations to see where things went wrong. So if you like the sound of any of these tools, I've actually linked them in the description below so you can check them out. And let me know, do you have any other recommendations on any tools that you're currently using in your business as well? I'd love to know and check them out. And thank you so much for watching, and see you in the next video.